What's up, Toes? Camel Harder 101 here, and welcome to another comic book review. And specifically, we're talking about Powerpuff Girls, Samurai Jack, and Ben10. And Ben10 came out like a month ago. The series started. Samurai Jack was like 2 months ago, and then Powerpuff Girls was like 3 months ago. I think it was 4 months ago. I don't know. I know one after the other, in the corresponding months they were released. But anyway, let's get into the reviews, and I'm gonna do it in this format. I'm gonna clump these together because I buy them every month when they're released. So I'm gonna Powerpuff Girls comes out a week before Ben10 and Samurai Jack, so I'm just gonna wait to the week after. And who knows? I'm 2 months late on some of these issues, but hopefully it starts to become consistent, and I'll clump them all together because it makes sense because they're all awesome Cartoon Network shows. So let's start with Powerpuff Girls number 3. I think this is a very good issue. It really starts to pick up the action. The villains are now heroes. They're helping the Powerpuff Girls, but it's all sort of a there's a sinister side plot, or not side plot, but like overarching evil plot that's going on by him, and it's definitely something that you're going to want to see. And this cover in particular, I really like it because it showcases all the villains, and it's just awesome. I don't have too much to say besides it's awesome. But this issue, number 4, is also really good, but there is something I want to kind of address, and I just need to find the page, but it is definitely something neat and something that I think maybe is hinting, I don't know, a little something in the future. You got Madame Foster there in Townsville, and you got, I forget her name, but Princess Moneybucks, helping Madame Foster across the street, and she actually refers to her as Madame Foster. And I don't know, is that like maybe a little hint or nod that maybe a Foster's Home comic is going to start up, maybe with the same writers, same artists? I'm really looking forward to that. I love how they're treating the Powerpuff Girls, giving them justice. It's an awesome show, and I know the kind of the reboot episode or special is coming out soon in January, and I'm really excited to see that because I don't know, it's just Powerpuff Girls. I freaking love Powerpuff Girls. It was just a classic back when I was watching it as I was younger, and it's definitely something that I sometimes go back and watch on Netflix, and it's just a really good show. And Foster's Home is also really good, you know, made by Lauren Faust, who's awesome in the industry, and I definitely look forward to maybe seeing a potential reboot of that in comic book form. And who knows, maybe this is just the beginning of a long-ass line of comic book reboots for Cartoon Network shows. And actually I have these out of order. This is the Samurai Jack issue I want to address, and I already talked about issue number 1 in a different video, and this is issue number 2. So basically, Jack is still looking for the threads of time. That is sort of the plot line of this arc, and I don't know if this is going to encompass the whole entire Samurai Jack series, or if this is just a portion and then they're going to start a new storyline. I hope that's the case because I'd like to see multiple storylines. But anyway, the villain in this one are these 2 little rat things called This and That, and they're not this and that, it's this and that. So it starts with a D, and they're just these annoying little rat things that fight in tandem. They use the strings to sort of synchronize their moves, and Jack can't fight them, so he's got to break the string. And I don't want to spoil everything because, you know, half the fun, or I mean, all the fun of it is kind of reading it yourself and being in suspense. But it's a good issue. I find that This and Dat are kind of annoying, but they're only in there for an issue because yeah, Samurai Jack whips their butts at the end. So next issue, this one I really don't want to spoil because there's a really good storytelling technique in this one, and it's just I'd be a fool and a jerk to spoil it for you guys. I'll just kind of flip through the pages so you can see. I feel like the art style, it might be the same, but it's sort of shifting. I see there's a lot of like dots and stuff used in this one to express like shadows, and it's almost a little bit more exaggerated in a way, but it's probably the same. It's just they use the little dotting a little bit more, like if you could see it here. I don't know if you can tell in the quality of the video, but the general idea of this one is Samurai Jack still looking for threads of time, but he encounters it in this town or marketplace or whatever you want to call it, this empire. It's a very like Roman Empire, and that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say how he gets it or if he gets it. And there's a super cool storytelling element in there that I definitely would want you guys to find out for yourselves. And this is actually this guy on the cover. He actually has nothing to do with the comic book. This is just a special variant cover. This is the subscription variant, and you can probably find it at your local comic book store, or if you like are subscribed to this series and get it, then this is the cover you'll be getting. And then for this one, this is just the regular cover, not a subscription variant, but this is the one that you'll find anywhere. And I'll throw links to all these online, like on IDW's website, because they probably have them all up there. And if not, I'm sure you'll find them in other places too. All sorts of places sell them. So now let's get into Ben 10. And this one's a little bit unique. This Ben 10, this is actually an old, like, it's a compilation of a bunch of old, like, Ben 10 stuff. And these things are, like, the definition of one-offs. They're each only a few pages long. I believe they're around, like, 8 or 9 pages. And they just showcase, Ben usually only uses, like, 2 or 3 aliens per comic. And there's usually only one villain. And what I like about this thing is, one, it's original Ben 10. OG Ben 10, classic. I love it. And it's got a bunch of issues, so there's a lot of like adventures. It's like let's see, it's like $18, but you get, it's way thicker than these. Even though the stories are shorter, there's just a bunch of them. So it's definitely a cool thing. But if you don't like, there's no continuity. It's one off after one off after one off. There's no consistency. You're not going to be getting any like continuation from one to the other. It's just they're just short little adventures with Gwen, Ben, and Grandpa Max. So, and it's only OG, so I think it goes up to like Canon Walt for the aliens, if I'm not mistaken. There might be like a Wild Vine in there, but I don't remember exactly. But anyway, like I said, it's original Ben 10. Now this is Ben 10 Omniverse, which is, I don't know much about Omniverse. I haven't seen the show yet. Right when these comic books came out, when issue number 1 came out, which this is actually issue number 1, I started watching Ben 10 Alien Force and Ultimate Alien, because I never really watched them when they came out, because I was super upset that they had canceled, original Ben 10 to replace it with something else. I just didn't really give the show a chance. I mean, I watched a few episodes, but I was really negative about it, and I was just like, absolutely not. And then once Omniverse came out, I'm just like, how about no? So, but I went back and rewatched, Alien Force and Ultimate Alien, and I had a way better experience with it now than I did, when they first came out. I realized that, it's not too much different. Ben definitely acts different now that he's like older. But you still got some like fun gags, and he's still goofy sometimes, and especially like when people find out that he's a hero and stuff, and the fame gets to his head. It's kind of fun to see those episodes. And the one thing that confuses me about Omniverse, strictly from a art style perspective and stuff, is Ben seems like he's 10, but he's still friends with Kevin, and Gwen looks like she's 20, and Kevin looks like he's like 18. And then I don't even know who this guy is, and I don't know. Maybe it's a I shouldn't say maybe, because I don't know, but it might be a continuation of Alien Force, or not Alien Force, Ultimate Alien. I haven't gotten to the end of Ultimate Alien, but maybe that's the case, and they just wanted to reboot the art style, because he does have a lot of the same aliens, but then he's also got some new ones, and it's really confusing. I'm sure if I watch the show, I'll understand it. If anyone knows, maybe they can update me in the comments, but I'll try my best to catch up with those episodes. And then this is issue number 2. Oh, I didn't really talk about the plot. The plot is basically has to do with like I kind of don't want to spoil it, but I'm not gonna spoil it. It's an okay plot. It's very it it's kind of slow in the first issue. It picks up a little bit more traction in issue number 2, and then obviously number 3 hasn't come out, but I feel like it's culminating and getting to a point where it's actually going to start getting some epic stuff. There haven't been really any scenes of massive action, you know, that Ben 10 is known for. In some of the episodes, there's really epic fights where Ben's switching back and forth between a bunch of different aliens, and we haven't really seen that in the comics. He hasn't really been using his aliens to the fullest potential. And funny thing about this issue is I don't know what this guy's name is, but he's on the cover, but he's not even in the issue. So again, it's that sort of the subscription cover has nothing to do with the actual comic. And who knows, maybe the subscription cover will be kind of like the Walking Dead All Out War thing, where all the covers sort of have one character on them and they kind of spread out. So maybe they'll have all of Ben's aliens on them. Issue number 1, though, doesn't have that. The subscription cover actually looks a little bit different. If I can find it. Yeah, the subscription cover's just got Ben and this other guy, this blue guy on it. But anyway, who knows? I guess we'll find that out next month. And one thing I will address, though, is how they do storytelling in this one. It's really interesting, though the story is not super interesting. The way they kind of tell it is a little cool. Like the box panels, which, you know, in comic books mean like narration and stuff. Ben, like in the present, narrates it, so he's kind of like telling the story of what happened on this adventure, while, you know, the speech bubbles and stuff are the characters of the past talking. So if like Ben says something in the past in the story, he'll like say it in a speech bubble, and then like present Ben telling the story will comment on it in, you know, the square panel. So the best like thing I could compare it to is if you've ever seen the show How I Met Your Mother, which is a fantastic show. It's not like an animated, it's live action starring Neil Patrick Harris. Super awesome. And sort of how that show works is there's the main character Ted, and he's telling a story to his kids about how he met their mother, and that sort of works the same way. Like, he's telling the story, the characters are talking in the present and stuff, but it's actually the past, and then every once in a while present Ted will like jump in, like if past Ted's like, yeah, let's do this and it'll be the best thing ever, and then he'll just jump in and you'll be like, it wasn't the best thing ever. So it's just like, it sort of adds to some like comic relief and stuff, and it works the same way in this Ben 10 comic. And it gets actually a little bit confusing in the second issue, because they start adding like different color square panels, and I don't know like who's who. Like the green ones are Ben, or the green or white ones are Ben, and then like, or no, the yellow ones are Ben, and then there's the pink ones, and they're just really confusing. And actually, I'll flip through, show you guys the art style, because this one I think is the closest maybe to the show. I mean, it's not like perfectly detailed, but it's you know, it captures the art style. And actually, this guy, I had just seen some episodes with him in Ultimate Alien, and he actually looks a little bit cooler in this in the comic book, and what I'm assuming is the actual show. So I don't know, the art style is, or no, I'd have to say Powerpuff Girls is 100% accurate to the show, so that it takes first place. Ben 10 takes second place in like matching the show, and then Samurai Jack takes third, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. That actually has nothing to do with the quality. That just means that Samurai Jack is more stylized, but it still reflects the show in a way. Like, it's stylized in a way that it makes sense. So it's very much like, almost seems like Japanese scripture type style, and Japanese artwork, and it just looks really cool. So that's all I got for you guys, and these are $4.99 or $3.99. So all these small issues are $3.99. That's usually the MLP ones that go for the same price. The Ben 10 ones, Powerpuff Girls, Samurai Jack, they're all from IDW, so they're all the same price. And speaking of MLP, I know issue number 14 came out. I know issue number 13 came out. I'm waiting to like put them together because they are one story arc, so I'm just going to review them together. And then I know I still haven't touched issue number 9 and 10, which I've been so busy. I own them both. I'm literally looking at them right now off the camera, and I just haven't gotten a chance to read them. So I'll try to get to those as soon as possible, and I'm trying to sort of space out the videos so they don't so I don't upload like too many. Like I don't want to upload multiple ones in a day, but then I also don't want to spread them out and get like one every 2 weeks. So I'm trying to record stuff in bulk and then release them as the the days and weeks progress. So that's sort of my strategy. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys later, and again, links are in the description to buy these.